Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. And we have a bunch of things to talk about today, so stick around, guys, because I think you're definitely going to find some useful stuff. Make sure, if you guys can, that you join us at Flight Sim Expo 2023. That's right, Overkill Simulations is going to be present this year, guys, at the Lone Star Museum in Houston, Texas. If you guys are interested in joining us there, be sure to check down the description below. There is a coupon code that can save you guys a bit of money using my personal reference to get you there. Again, that'll save you a bit of cash in your Flight Sim Expo 2023 experience. This is going to be June 23rd through the 25th of 2023. Again, in Houston, Texas, at the Lone Star Flight Museum. I went a few years ago in Las Vegas, and they are an absolute great time. There's some very, very informative and educational seminars to help better your flight simming experience, as well as a ton of developers of both hardware and software that you guys actually get to try out, essentially a try before you buy experience, as well as talking with the developers themselves and finding out what the products are all about. So again, guys, it's going to be Flight Sim Expo 2023 in Houston, Texas. I hope to see you guys all there. Don't forget to use my coupon code that you can find down in the description below. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come along down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. So first up here, folks, GotFriends is at it again, this time with a completely freeware object to use in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And that's right, guys, you see it there. It is a canoe. Now, I have already tried this out, you guys. I actually did it in VR. I'm going to be doing a video on it this afternoon so you guys can see it firsthand. There is a very awesome YouTube video that I will show a link to where they did their release of it. Don't let this fool you. Don't let it blow you away and say, oh, no, this is dumb. It was surprisingly peaceful, as silly as this sounds. So their whole intent here was to take advantage of the Microsoft Flight Simulator world. Given the fact that we have the photogrammetry and the satellite imagery, and the fact that you can go literally anywhere in the world that you've ever wanted to. Well, what cooler way to do that and step away from the flight simulation than with a very relaxing canoe ride? And you have a couple of different options, and we're going to talk about many of those in the video today, guys, when I actually do the display of it. So I don't want to get too far into all of the features, bells and whistles, and options that are available with this canoe, but it was very, very fun. And one of the things that I did to sort of enhance the experience is I took a amphibious aircraft out somewhere where I wanted to use the canoe, landed the amphibious aircraft, and then, changed over to the canoe. And it was a very awesome experience, especially in virtual reality. I had a really good time with it, especially if you pick somewhere that has the very nice satellite imagery. And this will definitely, I think, enhance scenery developers, or encourage scenery developers to start working on some of the more remote locations of places where you could take the canoe. It was a really cool experience. Again, guys, this is 100% completely free. A link to it will be down in the description below. There's no harm in giving it a shot, I promise, especially if you are in VR. VR, it was a very, very nice experience. It truly was. I was surprised. So let me know if you guys try it out. Let me know what you guys think. A little update from the Flying Iron Simulations in regards to the ME-109 or BF-109, depending on how you want to address it. But the Messerschmitt 109 was a very, very popular, very, very powerful, very, very capable, and very, very small fighter during World War II, for anyone who may not be your World War II history buffs and know this particular aircraft. It was definitely a formidable aircraft and was went mostly unchallenged for quite a long time until towards the end of the war. The Spitfire definitely gave it a run for its money, but when it came to the true competition, it wasn't really until the P-51 came out where it really started to stomp down. It was definitely right up there with the superior aircraft of the skies. So Flying Iron Simulations in their previous update gave us a view of the exterior texturing and the modeling that was done, but the texturing in the cockpit had been, for the most part, pretty much incomplete. And so now we get to see some of those screenshots and how it's coming along. You can see it's definitely moving along very, very nicely with some extreme attention to detail. If you guys take a look at all the different rivets, bolts, etc., handles, knobs, and wear and tear that you can be found around the various points of the aircraft, you can definitely tell that it's going to have a very aged look when it's done, which obviously is what should be expected of an aircraft like this. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the flight model with this one, given the fact that it exists in DCS World. And I can tell you in DCS World, it is a lot of fun to fly and yet a nightmare to land and taxi because of its extremely short wheelbase. She's very nasty on the ground. So it'd be interesting to see if they are able to closely match that and what the comparison is going to be like between the two. Obviously, in DCS World, you have to worry about getting shot down, where in Microsoft Flight Simulator, we just get to enjoy the skies in an ME-109. And then finally, they gave us one other preview, and here is the cockpit at night. Not sure how I feel about the deep and high green hue and purple. I'm not sure where the purple lighting is coming from, and if that's legitimate or not, or just something that they're doing for customization purposes to make it their own. Either way, it looks nice. I just speaking to the authenticity of that particular type of lighting, definitely going with what looks like the sort of neon glow or lighting in the steam gauges there. So it'll be kind of fun. We'll have to see where all this ends up with the aircraft. Still no release information as of yet, guys, but as more information comes down the pipeline, you know that I will be following it and letting you know. All right, the Carenado lineup of aircraft, many of them have seen a pretty significant update. Everything from the PC-12, the C-337 Skymaster, the 170B, the Piper 34 Seneca 5, and the PA-28 Aero 3. Now, these improvements have been focused primarily on integrating or better integration with the working title GNS 530-430 series, as well as the GTN 750 and 750XI. However, among those updates are also engine sound improvements, overall flight dynamics, which we'll talk about more in a minute, and new liveries, as well as a redesign of the electrical system. One of the bigger things that I'm very happy to see, given the fact that I have taken a pretty steep dive into virtual reality lately, is they've also improved the VR compatibility. They've improved the engine startup as well as heat special effects, and also provided some minor bug fixes. Now, the overall flight dynamics, I want to talk about that a little bit further in detail. One of the things, and well, not detail, I guess I want to give my expansion on that. I will be testing these aircraft out. We'll be flying them once again, and I'm going to try to do so before I update them. There were many aircraft that I did buy from the marketplace. And so I'm going to fly them again prior to, and then fly them again after, and see what kind of changes that truly entailed. Now, when it comes to flight dynamics, I still don't think that we're going to see some of the quality or performance of the aircraft that we're used to seeing with some of the other developers. For example, I don't see the PA-28 Aero coming close to, for example, the Just Flight experience. So if you're still looking for that highly detailed flight model, I would still probably recommend sticking with Just Flight over Carenado. Now, with that being said, it's funny because someone just commented on another video that I did just yesterday about the updates to the 747, 787. And if you happen to see this video, I saw your comment. But where they mentioned, I hope that there's still going to be an easy mode, with some of these aircraft, because as they increase the features. And I think that's sort of where Carenado falls into line with the general aviation aircraft. If you are looking for high fidelity, highly detailed, very accurate flight performance, Carenado is probably not the developer that you want to go with. I love their aircraft when you just want to fly something fun. That's something that's middle ground. It's not too complex. You don't have to monitor every single bell and whistle, and you just want to enjoy the overall flight experience of the aircraft. And for example, the Mooney. I still love flying the Mooney. The Mooney is one of my favorite aircraft to fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's fast. It's fun. It's got the little speed brakes on it, which just make it cool. But it's certainly, obviously, not in comparison to something like the Just Flight Aerial or Warrior series of aircraft. The Just Flight aircraft are far more difficult to fly. They're far more challenging. They're far more reactive and, temperamental if you don't follow up steps and procedures. So when you think about the Carenado aircraft, please make sure that you guys keep in mind what the developer's goal is. The thing that I love about Carenado aircraft is they're all beautiful. The texturing is always just amazing. And I am super excited to see what some of these updates are going to be, especially with, for example, the PA-34. I like the Seneca 5. The Seneca 5 is a really fun twin-engine aircraft. It's what you guys saw in the beginning of the video. For those of you who may not be aware, you'll be seeing it again at the end. But it's a fun aircraft. You get some pretty good range out of it. And it's just, again, I like twin-engine aircraft in general, so that's always fun for me. Anyways, wanted you guys to be aware, version 2.0 now out for many of the aircraft. Not all of them yet. I was kind of bummed to actually not see my Mooney on the list, but still, it's nice to see that they're continuing to work on their aircraft. Okay, for anyone who may be unaware, AnyBuilds released their John F. Kennedy Airport, I believe it was last week or week before, and it has now been updated to version 1.02. This is actually a really fast turnaround based on public feedback in regard to the airport. It's going to offer some optimizations for CPU performance, thus hopefully reducing, if not eliminating, any stuttering or lagging that may be experienced while at the airport using their particular scenery. However, it also fixes and the TW8 hotel at Terminal 5 with the addition of the TDs or touchdown zone lights, and as well as many more fixes and improvements to the airport. The airport is absolutely beautiful, you guys. I purchased it. I have not done my video on it yet. I promise I will. We'll do a fly into JFK here soon, and so you guys can check it out. But it is an incredibly well done design by them. They really did a fantastic job. And one of the cool parts that they stated is that currently JFK, I believe it's actually near the Terminal 4 areas where they stated, is under a pretty significant amount of construction. And AnyBuilds has stated that they will continue to monitor the construction of the actual airport. And as it continues to develop, they're going to update their scenery as well. Guys, this can be found for £19.99, I believe. And it can be found on the AnyBuilds website. So make sure that you guys check that out. It is a fantastically done version of JFK for such a popular airport. It was really nice to see that the work they did do. I mean, it's a massive airport, and really the performance isn't terrible. And I'm excited to see what the update's going to do. I haven't checked out the new update yet to verify whether or not there was any performance impact or change from my end. But again, that's a pretty quick turnaround. Next up, a new aircraft from developer A1R Design Bureau. Released their latest add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator, the Shavrov SH-2. The SH-2 is a Soviet single-engine amphibious aircraft that was found back in the 1930s. It's a 5-cylinder radial piston engine, so hopefully they get those sounds on point. And the aircraft is definitely a bit on the odd shape. Now, I found this to be pretty common with most Soviet aircraft. Some of them look really cool, and then some of them are just a little on the odd side. And this one definitely takes the odd side. Look, you can see with the top-mounted engine there, and then the floats down beneath it. It's very odd. It's almost like a biplane, but yet not quite. So definitely a weird-looking aircraft. Don't know if this one's particularly something that I'm going to be interested in. Seems a little off for me. But definitely it should interest some of you guys if this is your type of aircraft and something that you guys would like to fly. You can find it on the Just Flight website, I believe, for €15.99 if memory serves. A quick update to Simbrief and its integration with Navigraph. Now Simbrief, you can simply create your flight plan, and then you'll be able to actually view the charts as far as the low and high IFR as well as the map and VFR. You can zoom in and out to actually verify that the flight plan is following where you want it to be. But what you will not have access to is the plates. So your approach plate, your departure plates, things like that. So to use the actual charts functionality, you still require the Navigraph subscription and the Navigraph application. But it is a nice enhancement to the Simbrief flight planning system that'll make things just a little bit more useful, if you will, as far as being able to see your route and see everything in action as it is plotted. The Pilot Experience Maule 7, I hope I'm saying that correct, I always wonder with that one, has received a pretty significant update, as well as it is now available to Xbox users. So if you are out the Xbox and would like to fly this amphibious aircraft, you have that option. There's also been a pretty significant update to the aircraft itself, including a fix to the center of gravity, which was definitely impacting the ability to maintain stability of the aircraft while in takeoff. They've also added the PMS 50, GTN 750, and 650 support, updated payload stations, wheel chocks logic, as well as much more to the aircraft. The aircraft can be purchased for approximately €25.99 at the AnyBuilds and Sim Markets website. So if you guys are interested in picking up this particular aircraft third party, you have that available. Scenery developer AC Scenery has released a very large expansion pack to the city of Los Angeles, enhancing many of the surrounding areas and points of interest, giving you a much better perspective of what it means to fly over this incredibly popular and very large city located in California in the United States. They've done an absolutely wonderful job with over 100 handcrafted items that really bring the scenery of Los Angeles to life and certainly bring that satellite imagery much, much closer to what we should be expecting to see. The screenshots shown here are absolutely gorgeous, and this can be found exclusively on the sim market for 1440 euros. Los Angeles is a location that I fly to quite often, so you guys can definitely expect to see this on the channel in the coming days. We even have the luxurious and infamous Queen Mary located here. So if you guys are interested in checking this out, again, you can find it exclusively on the sim market for 1440 euros. A new scenery from Jepson 2001, created with the help of Flow. And that is Niagara Falls. As many of you guys know, Niagara Falls is a very popular tourist attraction as well as vacationing spot here in the United States. They have done an absolutely amazing job, as this intro video will definitely showcase. It's got modeled with absolutely just about everything in the area, from the hotels, as you can see here, to trains, to the heliports, to airfields, to lighting, to the casinos, to obviously the falls itself. The really cool thing about the falls itself is that they did an amazing job as far as modeling the rapids and the texturing with it. That looks absolutely fantastic, you guys. This is another one that I'm going to be purchasing later today, and we'll be showcasing over the next few days. Even the sky crane, you guys, this is they really went above and beyond with this one. And it's really nice to see some of these smaller locations starting to take the scenery, because it's going to give you points of interest to fly to that are outside of just going from city to city to city. But look at the modeling they did on the falls, you guys. I mean, they just nailed it. It looks fantastic. That had to have been a feat in itself. That's some tough work right there. Anyways, I want to make sure that you guys are aware that this is now available. You guys had to go back and look. This can be purchased from flightsim.to or the sim marketplace for 14 euros. Very, very reasonable, you guys, and very, very fun location to go and fly to. Highly recommend it. I mean, like I said, you guys, let the details speak for itself. This is definitely one worth having. Well, my friends, as always, I hope you guys found this video to be useful and gave you some very interesting things to take a look at. And I will see you guys in the next one.